Elena sits on a plastic chair in the waiting area, clutching a crumpled registration strip tightly in her hand.
For the past 5 years, I've lived like a shadow.
She looks down at her slightly swollen lower belly, her fingers gently over the fabric brushing of her clothes.
Until the 5-year term was up, I took the 3 million I had saved and vanished without a trace.
A nurse pokes her head out from the consultation room door and calls out her name.
Elena?
Elena stands up, takes a deep breath, and walks toward the consultation room. The doctor hands a pregnancy test report to Elena, pointing with a fingertip at the words 4 weeks pregnant.
Confirmed 4 weeks pregnant. Fetal heartbeat is normal.
Elena takes the report, her gaze fixed intently on that line of war, as her shoulders slowly relax.
Looking at the pregnancy report just from the hospital, the weight that had been hanging over my heart finally lifted.
She carefully folds the report and places it in an inner pocket close to her body. Elena walks out of the clinic, the salty sea breeze blowing through her long hair. She walks along the narrow street, lined with low, colorful houses and drying fishing nets.
In the 3rd month after my escape, I finally settled down in a small coastal town in the south. A 1-bedroom apartment, 60 square meters, with a small balcony where the salty sea breeze can be smelled.
Floor-to-clearing window, clutching a crumpled pregnancy test report in his hand, his knuckles turning white. The assistant stands beside the desk, head bowed low, not daring to look up.
Mr. Thorne, we've searched the entire city, but there is still no sign of Miss Hayes.
Keep searching. Pull all surveillance footage from the surrounding cities.
The legendary Dominic, said to be cold-hearted and detached from worldly affairs, has gone mad. Clutching my 4-week pregnancy report, he nearly tore the entire city apart.
3 months later, as Elena sits on the sofa sorting baby clothes, the sound of the door lock turning suddenly echoes. Dominic pushes the door open and enters. His suit is rumpled, his eyes are crimson, and his breathing is ragged. The clothes slip from Elena's hands onto the floor, and she freezes in place. Dominic walks step by step toward her, his voice trembling and barely holding together.
Elena, how dare you run away carrying my child?
Elena stands at the stove, stomach-nourishing soup simmering in a clay pot, steam misting her features. She tastes the soup, confirms the temperature, turns off the heat, and ladles it into a porcelain bowl. Carrying the bowl, she walks toward the living room with light, steady steps.
He has a weak stomach, so I mastered making soups. I am both his full-time assistant and secret lover. He is a misophobe, so I keep his villa immaculate.
After finishing, Dominic pulls her into his arms, burying his face in her neck. Breathe deeply.
He suffers from some insomnia. Only my scent lulls him to sleep.
Afterward, Dominic claims against the Hydewoods, mocking, placing a bank card from under the pillow onto the nightstand.
Yet he never speaks of love, offering barely any tenderness. Every time we finish, you hand me a card or have your assistant transfer money. The gesture is practiced, like dismissing a commodity requiring no emotion.
Elena, you're a pup-over! Throwing away dignity for money!
Friends call me shameless for abandoning dignity for money. I just smile and never explains.
She wants to look at the shot at you ruse, gaze serene.
How much is dignity worth? Can it buy the 10,000 a day to keep my father alive in the ICU?
Dominic pushes a contract toward Elena, tapping 5 years.
5 years. Be my woman, and I cover your father's medical expenses.
And on the stairs at the closes, fingers trembling before signing and pressing her fingerprint.
His voice is as cold as ice. I had no choice but to sign, becoming his hidden possession. 5 years ago, our company went bankrupt. My father suffered a stroke. My mother wept daily. It was Dominic who handed the neo-friend.
Elena stands in a corner in a gown. Nearby, Serena holds a cello, busking in admiration. To guess whisper, gaze is sweeping toward Elena.
Her eyes are identical to Miss White's.
She's a cheap substitute, lacking even 30% of her charm.
Everyone knows his ideal is Serena, a gentle cellist. Rumor says my features bear 30% resemblance to hers, so I am merely a cheap 1/3 replica.
Dressed in black, Elena stands before the portrait holding white crystal tantrums, eyes dry and tearless. She gently places the flowers on the coffin, fingertips touching the cold wood. She turns to the empty hall and bows deeply.
After the funeral, I took my 3 million savings and quietly left that suffocating city.
Elena sits on the bed, deletes all contacts, snaps the SIM card, and throws it away.
I deleted all contacts and assumed a new identity, merging into the crowd, believing we'd never cross paths again.
She pulls her suitcase to the door, glances back at the empty room, and closes it, gently.
After all, I was just a substitute. He could easily find someone resembling Serena more. Until that evening, walking home with groceries, I looked up and was caught off guard by a massive poster. Thorn Group, making a strong entry into the city, creating the future together. The tomato fell with a smack, smashing into a pulp. Dominic actually tracked me down here.
Elena frantically squats to gather vegetables, fingers stained with tomato juice.
No, perhaps it's coincidence. A tycoon like him expanding business anywhere isn't strange. Clinging a hope, I frantically picked up my things and practically ran home.
Alan rushes in, locks the door, and slides down against it to the floor. She presses her chest, breathing roughly, heart pounding audibly. Even locked inside, my heart pounds uncontrollably. The villa is dimly lit. Dominic sits on the sofa, repeatedly rubbing a small earring.
In the dream, Dominic toys with an earring I left behind. He gave it on a whim. It wasn't valuable, so I didn't take it.
Are you tired of this?
Lena tries to respond, but Herper feels blocked, unable to speak. His gaze is heavy, voice soft yet impressively storm-like.
Elena, who gave you the audacity to leave without a word?
Elena bods a pride, chest heaving. She touches her forehead, palm covered in cold sweat.
Jolted awake at dawn, my hand slick with cold sweat.
She throws off the covers, gaze turning resolute.
No, I can't stay here any longer. Money and houses can be replaced, but I cannot let him drag me back. I immediately spring up to pack.
Elena uploads the property listing to a real estate platform and publish it. She switches apps, books the next train to a remote inland town, and pays.
I spent half a day listing the house and booking the earliest train to a remote inland town.
She puts down the phone, taking a deep breath to steady herself. Elena stands in the waiting hall with her suitcase. Her phone vibrates. She pulls it out to see an unfamiliar number.
Just as I stood in the station, my supposedly safe phone number suddenly rang. It was an unknown caller. I hesitated but answered. Deathly silence on the line, save for familiar breathing that makes my scalp tingle. Hello? I speak tentatively, voice carrying an imperceptible tremble. Still silence. Just as I was about to hang up, that voice embraced in my bones rang out with metallic coldness.
Elena, turn around.
My body freezes, as if nailed to the spot. Mechanically, I turn around bit by bit. Through the crowd, I see Dominic at the VIP entrance.
Tall and black, he stands apart from the chaos, isolated by his bodyguards. He turns his head and whispers to the assistant beside him.
Then, I see him raise his hand and speak to his assistant.
Instantly, every screen changes from schedules to an immensely magnified ultrasound. Mine. The 4-week pregnancy ultrasound. Passengers stop and look up as murmurs and gasps ripple through the crowd.
A wave of commotion and exclamations erupts.
Elena stands rooted to the spot, her pupils unfocused, her entire body frozen stiff.
My mind buzzed loudly, going completely blank. How could he have this? I clearly tucked it away with my medical records in the hidden compartment of my suitcase.
Mrs. Elena, please report to the VIP reception room immediately. Mr. Thorne is waiting for you.
Then, his assistant's emotionless voice blares over the broadcast, echoing again and again throughout the hall. I, Elena, after 3 months on the run, am being publicly executed by my former patron in the most humiliating and socially devastating way possible, right in front of hundreds of people. I'm done for. The VIP reception room is freezing cold, the chill seeping deep into my very bones. Dominic sits on the sofa across from me, legs crossed, his posture elegant yet radiating an oppressing aura of absolute power over life and death. He doesn't look at me. He simply keeps his gaze lowered, tapping rhythmically with his fingertips, over and over. This is his habitual Hester when he's thinking, or rather, right before he passes judgment on someone's fate. I know it all too well. 5 years, over 1,800 days and nights, I studied him like a top-tier client. I know what he likes, what he hates, and can even read his emotions from the slightest shift in his expression. Yet here and now, I cannot read him at all. Why did he come? Why would he create such a massive spectacle just for me? Could it be all because of this unexpected seed growing inside me?
Ilona takes a deep breath, straightens her posture, and looks at the man on the sofa.
Mr. Thorne, we are over. The 5-year contract was fulfilled to the exact day, not a day more, not a day less. I did not breach our agreement.
Gentleman raises his eyelids, his pitch-black eyes staring directly at Ilona.
Those eyes are as cold as quenched ice, making my heart tremble with fear.
Over? Elena, since when do you get to define the terms of our relationship?
It is written in black and white in the contract. Between you and me, all accounts are settled. We owe each other nothing. I stiffen my neck, struggling to maintain my last shred of dignity.
Owe each other nothing?
He looks as though he has just heard the most absurd joke in the world.
Then what about this? You run off to this God-staken place carrying my child, and you have the nerve to talk to me about owing each other nothing?
Elena's face instantly flashes crimson.
Who says this is yours?
The words blurts out of my mouth almost instinctively, my voice so sharp it even startles me.
I have a new boyfriend now. Is that not allowed?
The air freezes solid in this very instant. His gaze looks as if it could devour me whole.
The room falls into a deadly silence. Dominic's expression darkens inch by inch at a visible pace, a violent storm raging in the depths of his eyes. She instinctively shrinks back, her spine pressing against the cold sofa backrest.
That familiar, invasive cologne scent of his wraps around me once again.
Who is it?
Is it that real estate agent who sends you flowers every day, or that poor student at the coffee shop downstairs who fuckles over you?
He has been watching me all along. From the very first day I arrived in this small town, every single move I made has been entirely under his control. A bone-chilling coldness surges instantly from the soles of my feet, straight to the top of my head. I thought I had escaped his cage, only to realize I merely traded a large one for a smaller, meticulously prepared one. He seems quite satisfied as he observes my look of sheer terror.
Dear, don't play these little games with me. You know they are useless.
He rarely calls me this. It is usually reserved for moments of passion in bed, but hearing it now makes my flesh crawl. My entire body goes ridded. I dare not make a single movement. There is a faint scar on my wrist from 3 years ago, when I accompanied him to a gala that caught fire. Amidst the panicked crowd, I was cut by a shard of falling glass. Back then, he looked at me with this same obsessive intensity before scooping me up without hesitation and carrying me out of the inferno. Yet afterward, he coldly ordered the doctor to treat my wound without offering a single word of concern. From that moment on, I knew this man has no heart. Everything he does is perhaps solely to preserve the integrity of his private possession, the substitute for his true love.
Dominic withdraws his hand, his tone brooking no argument.
Come back with me.
I have no idea where I found the courage.
No! Dominic, I am not your property! I have my own life!
He seems to have never expected that the usually docile me would dare to lay hands on him. That smile holds no warmth at all. Instead, it carries a cruel sense of delight.
Good. Very good. Elena, I will give you 2 choices. 1. You come back to Yuncheng with me right now, this instant. Once the child is born, I will give you 100 million, and we will be even forever.
Money again. In his eyes, both this child and I are nothing but commodities that can be measured in money. And what is the second choice?
I will buy this entire town and wipe it off the map, until there is not a single inch of land left in this world for you to hide. The choice is yours.
Dominic brought me back to Yuncheng, imprisoned me in his 360-degree panoramic penthouse apartment in the city center, under the guise of nurturing the pregnancy. In reality, it is no different from the home I lived in before, only more lavish, colder, like a gilded cage built entirely of money and glass. My phone and identification have all been confiscated. Bodyguards watch the door 24 hours a day, and the specially made windows wouldn't even let a fly escape. The only proof that I still have any connection to the outside world is that enormous LCD television in the room.
The living room TV broadcasts financial news right on schedule. Dominic's handsome yet completely cold face appears on the screen. Every day, financial news airs promptly on television, and Dominic's handsome but utterly cold face shows up right on cue. He remains that aloof, all-powerful business tycoon, as if the man who lost his composure at the small-town train station days ago was never him. A week later, my cellmate showed up. It was Serena.
Miss Hayes, long time no see.
She greets me with a smile, her eyes filled with undisguised contempt, her gaze lingering for 3 seconds on Elena's flat stomach. Elena ignores her completely and walks out to the balcony to water the flowers on her own.
Dominic asked me to come check on you. He said you're pregnant in a delicate condition. If you need anything, just tell me, and I'll arrange everything perfect for you.
Her words sound polite, but the subtext is obvious. Don't think having a child will raise your status. Doming's heart still belongs to me.
I'm doing just fine. No need to go out of your way for me, Miss White. If this had happened before, I might have hung my head in shame, desperate to find a crack to crawl into. But now, after going through so much, I feel surprisingly calm. So what if I'm a substitute? At least the child in my belly is the heir Dominic himself acknowledged out loud. And what about Serenina? After all these years with Dominic, what has she got besides the empty title of his first love? At that thought, the faint resentment in my heart strangely melted away.
You certainly know how to make peace with your lot. Then again, for a girl of your humble background, snagging Dominic is already a firm blessing from your ancestors. Now that you're carrying his child, your livelihood is secured for life. More could you possibly want?
Her words are like poison-dipped needles, piercing precisely into my most tender, painful spots.
Miss White is absolutely right. Unlike me, you come from a noble family and are renowned cellists. Your suitors could line up here all the way to France. So why insist on pining after Dominic? Do you like that he's older? Or that he never comes home? Don't get cocky, Elena. Who do you think you are? The only reason Dominic keeps you around is for the baby in your deli. Once the baby is born, you'll get thrown out all the same! Thrown out? That's fine by me. Mr. Coy? Mr. Thorne promised me 100 million once the baby is born. 100 yen for 10 years of my youth is a fair deal. Better than some people who wanks their youth in dancing. No xiao. Tusma? You cheap slut!
I didn't dodge. I just watched her quietly, my gaze laced with defiance and unconcealed expectation.
Just as the slap is about to land, a powerful hand reaches out from behind at an angle, clamping firmly around Serena's wrist with unerring precision. Dominic stands at the balcony entrance with a darkened expression and icy eyes.
Have you enough of this fuss?
I have no idea when he came back. His gaze is as cold as a Siberian cold front. That unique, all-controlling aura of his wraps around the whole balcony in an instant. Sunlight falls on the watch dial on his wrist, refracting thin shards of cold light.
The arrogance on Serena's face is instantly extinguished, replaced by a look of aggrieved fragility as her eyes redden.
Dominic, let me explain, please. It was her. She provoked me with her words first.
The second she sees Dominic, her previous swaggering look vanishes right away.
Dominic does not glance at Serena at all. He flings her outstretched hand away, walks straight to me, and brushes gently over the corner of my eye, where there are no tears at all. His movements are so gentle that I fall into fleeting illusion for a second.
He leans down, speaking into Elena's ear in a voice meant only for the two of them.
Elena, put away those improper little thoughts of yours. Behave yourself. It is good for you and for the child.
His voice is very soft, but it pierced straight into my heart like an ice prick. So he saw everything after all. He saw Serena about to hit me, and he also saw the provocation and calculation in my eyes. He was not protecting me at all. He was only warning me. Do not try to challenge authority, and don't try to use this child to hurt the person he truly cares about. After all, I am nothing but a tool, a useful tool, made specifically to bear his child. My heart sinks completely, turning stiff and cold.
Dominic sits at the table watching Elena eat her nutritionist-designed meal, expression different. Since that day, Dominic moved into the apartment, never touched me again, and controlled everything strictly like a guardian.
Meals are all custom-made by nutritionists. My walks are timed to the second. Even the books I read must be screened by him first.
Pregnant women need to stay cheerful. Stories about love, joy, and sorrow are not suitable for you to read.
Books including The Logic of Finance are placed on Elena's nightstand. She picks one up to flip through a novel. I don't feel like I'm resting to nurture my pregnancy at all. It feels more like I'm stuck in an endless, brutal boot camp. Serena never came to visit again, but I know they never cut off contact with each other.
Elena walks past the study holding a glass of water. The door is left jarred, and Dominic's low, soft voice drifts out from inside.
Late at night, I often hear him taking calls in the study. His voice is quiet, but the tenderness in it carries right through the door.
Through the gap in the door, Elena sees Dominic standing by the Florida-Cleveland window on a video call. The screen shows Serena in a video. The camera used Serena in an evening gown inside a concert hall.
Dominic, I miss you so much.
Go rest early.
Elena does not stay, just slips quietly back to her room, sets down the glass, and lies on the bed with no expression on her face.
I didn't stay to listen anymore, and slipped back to my room without a sound. My heart is so numb that I can't even feel the pain anymore. I should have known better long ago. A stand-in should know her place. Don't look at what you shouldn't, don't listen what you shouldn't, and never hold on to unrealistic fantasies.
Elena sits in the living room reading quietly. When Domit walks over, she puts down the book immediate and looks at him pibiently, and looks up beautifully, no emotion in her eyes at all.
I started to become silent and sidle like an emotionless puppet, letting him control everything about me. Seeing how obedient she is, Dominic nods slightly, clear satisfaction showing on his face. He seems very pleased with how sensible I've become.
The TV in the living room plays the black and white film Roaming Holiday. Dominic sits on the sofa and does not go to the studier as usual.
That night, he broke his long-held routine, skipped the study, and stayed in the living room.
This is my favorite movie of all time.
I have fantasized about this countless times. I want to be like Princess Anne, for even just one day, and break all shackles, and live and love freely.
You like this one?
I pause for a split second, then nod my head.
Because, in the end, she chose her duty and gave up on love. That is my truest, most honest thought. The princess eventually turned to her gilded cage, and I, too, have returned to mine. Dominic's silent for a long while, then pulls a velvet box from his pocket and holds it out to me.
This is for you.
I open the box. Inside lies a simply designed diamond bracelet, set with pink diamonds. I recognize this brand. It is Serena's favorite luxury jewelry label. I figure it was originally meant as a gift for Serena. He just threw in a copy for me, his so-called trusted helper.
Thank you, Mr. Thorne.
Dominic looks at my completely unreadable, calm face, and his brows furrow almost imperceptibly.
You don't like it?
It's beautiful.
But no gift, no matter how stunning, can warm a heart that has already gone completely cold. Dominic stands up and walks to the liquor cabinet, pours himself a glass of whiskey, a faint trace of irritation crossing his face. Dominic's private phone rings. He picks up, and the voice of his assistant Grace comes through the receiver. The person calling is his assistant, Grace.
Mr. Thornton, the investigation is fully wrapped up. The bankruptcy of Miss Hayes' family company 5 years ago was sabotaged from behind the scenes. All evidence points to the White family.
My heart gives a violent lurch. I almost think I am hallucinating.
Remains vertapt.
The White family? Serena's family?
With his back to Elena, Dominic freezes mid-motion. The knuckles of the hand, gripping the whiskey glass, turn faintly white from the force.
Furthermore, we've also uncovered that the car accident involving your father and Miss Hayes' parents, Ben, back then, may have hidden truths as well.
Enough!
Dominic sharply cuts her off, slams the phone down, and downs the rest of his drink in one gulp. The living room plunges into a deathly silence. His voice carries a rare loss of control.
I can hear my own heartbeat clearly. Thump after thump, pound against my eardrums like a war drum. Did the Whiteley orchestrated my father's company bankruptcy? And my parents' car accident? Was there more to it than meets the eye? These revelations detonate in my mind like a series of bombs.
What did she just mean? My father's company. And my parents' accident. What really happened?
Dominic turns around slowly. Under the light, his face is pale, his eyes filled with complexity, his Adam's apple bobbing. There is shock, pain, inner turmoil, and panic in his expression.
Elena, some things are better left unknown.
Dominic sits beside me, his gaze fixed on me the whole time. I eat quietly with my head down, wearing a submissive expression. The more Dominic tries to keep me in the dark, the more desperately I am determined to uncover the truth. I am no longer the Elena who simply accepts every wrong done to me. My father's company, my parents' deaths, these are the deepest wounds in my heart. I will never let them remain unexplained. Dominic watches me even more closely now, hardly ever leaving my side. But even the tightest watch has a blind spot. He forgot one thing that exists in this world. I place an order on my phone, typing a message and a transfer amount into the notes section. Then I turn off the screen, my face looking as calm as usual. I used the afternoon tea order as cover. I left a plea for help and a generous tip in the notes for the delivery driver. I asked him to contact someone for me. A senior from my university, who is now an excellent private investigator. A delivery driver brings a tiramisu cake. I take the cake, and once I am sure no one is around, I carefully open the hidden layer in the cake and pull out a folded stack of documents. 3 days later, I received the first set of materials from my senior. It was hidden right inside the layer of the tiramisu. I unfold the documents and read through them page by page. My hands edited it styled 1 Tim Persians, by fate hands tremble uncontrollably. My breathing grows rapid, and my face flush bright red with anger. The files confirm every word Grace told me over the phone.
5 years ago, my family's company suffered a sudden cash flow break and declared bankruptcy overnight. It was all masterminded by the White Group, which launched a hostile makeover and spread rumors behind the scenes.
And their motive was both ridiculous and pathetic. It was only because Serena found out by accident that Dominic's father once wanted me to be the Thornleys' daughter-in-law. Our two families were old family friends. My father and Dominic's father were brothers who had saved each other's lives. Serena was jealous of me, so she destroyed everything I had. Staring at the hard evidence printed in black and white, I shake all over with rage, blood rushing straight to my head. I had always thought I was the one abandoned by fate. It turns out I was always the original leading Lurtle, and Serena was nothing but a vicious supporting character who schemed to steal someone else's life. I stand at the study door, clutching the documents, my gaze icy and my body trembling slightly. And what about Dominic? What role did he play in this conspiracy? Did he know and stay silent, or was he an accomplice? The moment this thought surfaced, my heart turned as cold as if plunged into an ice cavern. I push open the door and burst into the study. Dominic is in the middle of a video conference on his computer. He frowns at my arrival, gestures to the screen for a moment's pause, and hits the mute button.
What's wrong?
I slam the documents onto the desk, my eyes red-rimmed as I point a paper spread across the surface.
Dominic, you knew all along, didn't you? You knew it was the White family who ruined my family and took their lives, yet you kept me in the dark. You just watched me live under the same roof as my enemy's daughter. What do you take me for, a fool?
My voice turned sharp with agitation, even cracking mid-sentence.
How did you get these?
Don't worry about how I got them. Just answer me, yes or no.
The computer screen stays lit, several suit executives looking on in astonishment as they witness our concentration. A shadow of menace flashes in Dominic's eyes. He abruptly shuts the laptop, severing the connection, and silence falls over the study.
Yes.
He finally admitted it. That single word cuts through me like a blade, inflicting 1,000 wounds. Tears instantly well up in my eyes, spilling silently down my cheeks.
Elena clenches her fists so tightly that her nails dig into her palms, her body, trembling with overwhelming emotion.
You knew the truth all along. Why did you hide it from me? Why did you stay with Serena? Were you involved too? Because you loved her? You destroyed me together, and then you swooped in like a savior to keep me as your captive plaything. You're despicable.
I didn't.
It was the first time I had ever seen him lose his composure like this.
Don't touch me. Dominic, you make me sick.
Dominic's eyes are bloodshot, veins bulging at his temples.
It's not what you think. I stayed by Serena's side to gather evidence, to get revenge for you.
Revenge? Did it really take 5 years? Mr. Thorne, you're Dominic, the man whose word is law in Yuncheng. Does it truly take you 5 years to bankrupt a company?
The truth is, you simply couldn't bear to let go of your beloved ideal.
Every word I spoke struck straight at his heart. Dominic's face turns deathly pale in an instant. He opens his mouth to speak, but no sound comes out.
To me, his silence was nothing less than an admission. It lays on me. So it turned out that his so-called evidence gathering was merely an excuse born of his unwillingness to let go. He wanted both the tender embrace of his cherished dream girl and firm control over me, his stand-in. He wanted to have it all. This man was selfish to the very core.
We're done. Dominic, from this moment on, we are irreconcilable enemies.
I return to my room and lock the door. My body slides helplessly down against the wood, until I sink to the floor. I hug my knees, burying my face deep between them as I break into uncontrollable sobs. I weep for my deceased parents, for my shattered family, and for 5 years of youth and devotion wasted on the wrong person. I thought I had fallen in love with a god, only to discover he was nothing but a selfish, cowardly liar. I lie in a deep slumber on the bed until a rapid knocking at the door jolts me awake.
Miss Hayes, Mr. Thorne asks you to turn on the television.
I open my eyes numbly, pick up the remote, and switch on the TV. The morning news is already playing on screen.
Breaking news. Late last night, the White Group was exposed for financial scandals and corporate crimes, including allegations of malicious takeovers and market manipulation.
The company's chairman, Bai Qingming, has been taken into police custody for investigation. Reportedly, the whistleblower behind this case is none other than the White Group's prospective son-in-law and CEO of Thorne Group, Mr. Dominic.
On screen, reporters swarm outside the White Group headquarters. Bai Qingming, handcuffed and escorted by police, is led into a patrol car. Sharina, pale-faced in a hospital, chases after him, crying out for her father before collapsing weakly onto the ground.
The scene mirrors my own tragedy from 5 years ago with haunting precision. Karma truly comes full circle. And the one who pushed the White family into hell with his own hands was Dominic himself. He destroyed his own beloved ideal with his bare hands.
These are all the equity transfer agreements for the White Group. From now on, it bears the Hayes name. This is what I owed you.
Was my parents' car accident also connected to you?
In that moment, I understood everything.
Dominic, how cruel you truly are. I once exposing the White family's conspiracy would mark the end of everything. I never imagined that an even then more brutal, blood-smoked truth was still waiting for me up ahead. I could not bear to stay in this place full of lies and deceit for even one more second.
Let her go.
His voice sounds completely exhausted, like an empty shell stripped of its soul.
Alina races downstairs and out of the apartment building onto the street.
The cold morning wind cuts through my thin nightgown, biting straight to the bone. But no matter how cold the wind is, it can never match the chill in my heart right now.
I drift along the street with no direction, like a wandering ghost with nowhere to go. Senior, it's me. Please help me. I want to leave here as fast as possible, as far away as possible. My voice when I speak is so calm that even I find it terrifying.
All right, don't be scared. Send me your location. I'll come pick you up right away.
Elena hangs up the phone, deletes the call log, removes the SIM card, snaps it in half, and tosses it into a nearby trash bin. She then collapses back onto the bench, staring up at the overcast sky.
After doing all this, I felt as though every ounce of strength had been drained from my body. These past 5 years were like a bizarre and terrifying nightmare. Now, it was time to wake up.
Senior walks over quickly. Seeing Elena's condition, he takes off his jacket and drapes it over her shoulders before helping her into the car.
I'm fine. Take me to the airport.
But your health...
I said I'm fine!
Senior sighs and turns the car around, heading toward the airport. Startled by my reaction, he didn't press the matter any further. I sit silently in the back seat while Senior drives, occasionally glancing at me through the rearview mirror. I remained silent throughout the ride. Senior didn't ask questions either, only stealing worried glances at me through the mirror from time to time.
Someone will be waiting for you when you arrive. I've arranged everything. Elena, take care of yourself. No matter what happens, promise me you'll keep living.
Thank you, Senior.
Beyond those 3 words, I didn't know what else to say.
Silly girl, there's no need to be formal with me. Now, hurry inside. Your flight is about to depart.
I nod and turn toward the security checkpoint, never looking back once. I was afraid that if I turned around, the fragile courage I had barely managed to bester would crumble in an instant.
As the plane takes off, I lean against the window gazing down at the city's towering skyscrapers and flowing traffic below. This place holds both my most beautiful childhood memories and my most unbearable 5-year nightmare. Goodbye, Yuncheng. Goodbye. Goodbye, Dominic.
From this day forward, we shall never meet again. Not in life, not in death. I run a Chinese restaurant in a small foreign town. Business is steady, and my 6-year-old son Leo plays inside. I have lived abroad for 7 years. During these 7 years, I gave birth to my son and named him Leo. I hope he will live a life of peace, free from worry and sorrow. Leo looks up at me, his eyes deep and pitch black. Leo resembles me greatly, but those eyes are identical as Dominic's. Deep, dark, like 2 beautiful obsidian stones. Every time I see his eyes, my heart gives in an involuntary pang of pain. I change light bulbs alone, fix plumbing, and review financial statements. Senior arranged everything perfectly for me, using the startup funds he provided, a Kong with what little money I had left. I opened a small Chinese restaurant in this picturesque town. Business isn't booming, but it's enough to keep us comfortably fed and clothed. I learned how to change light bulbs, fix pipes, and even how to hold my son through a feverish night, while calmly discussing his condition with Dr. Amir. I am no longer the Elena who needed to depend on others to survive. I became Leo's mother, a mother capable of anything.
Dr. Amir informs me of Leo's diagnosis and tissue matching results. My expression turns grave. For 7 years, I severed all contact with my home country. I didn't know what had become of Dominic, nor did I know the final fate of the White family. I deliberately avoided seeking out any news about him. I believed that if I simply refused to think about it, look at it, or listen to it, the past would truly stay buried. That was until Leo turned 6 and was diagnosed with a rare blood disorder. He needed a bone marrow transplant. My tissue type wasn't a match. Dr. Amir told me the odds of finding a compatible donor were indefensible. The only hope was the child's biological father. In that moment, I felt as though the sky had collapsed above me. I kept vigil over Leo, sitting in that hospital corridor through the entire night. I stared at the number etched into my memory, one I hadn't dialed even once in 7 years. I knew then that I could no longer run. For my son's sake, I had to go back, to return to the place I swore never to set foot in again, and beg the man I despised with every fiber of my delve. I walk out of the airport and look around at the newly built skyscrapers and overpass, my expression dazed. After 7 years, I have again set foot on the Yuncheng Tutu. The moment the plane touched down, I felt as though a lifetime had passed. Yuncheng has changed so much. New high-rises and flyovers are everywhere, and its bustling prosperity feels utterly alien to me now. I did not contact Dominic.
You silly girl, you finally remembered to come back.
I tell Senior about Leo's condition. After listening, he remains silent for a long while before gently patting my shoulder.
Don't be afraid. I'm here for you.
Using his connections, Senior quickly found out Dominic's current situation. He hasn't married, nor has there been any scandal involving him. He remains that aloof business emperor, only more reclusive and colder than he was 7 years ago. Rumor has it that he handed over most of Thorn Group's operations to professional managers and went into semi-retirement, spending his days confined within the very penthouse we once shared, like a prisoner in self-imposed exile.
Clutching the address Senior gave me, I finally found myself standing at the foot of that all-too familiar building. I stand beneath the familiar apartment building, take a deep breath, and press the doorbell.
I'm here to see Dominic. Sir isn't receiving visitors. Just tell him my name is Elena. He will see me.
The housekeeper turns and goes inside to announce me. Moments later, hurried footsteps echo from within. The door is yanked open, and Dominic appears in the doorway.
After 7 years apart, he had grown much thinner. His eyes were deeply sunken,
and to my surprise, strands of silver now streaked his hair. The imposing presence he once carried had largely faded, supplanted by an exhaustion and world-weariness that seemed etched into his very bones. He stared at me intently, unblinking, as if I were nothing more than a fragile illusion conjured by his own longing.
Elena.
Mr. Thorne, I came today to propose a deal.
The study was unchanged, frozen in time just as I had left it 7 years ago. Even the books I once read still sat neatly arranged on the shelves, now covered in a fine veil of dust. A heavy, lingering loneliness permeated the air, impossible to shake.
Tell me, what kind of deal?
My son is ill and requires a bone marrow transplant. You are his only hope.
He picked up the medical file, turning each page with painstaking attention. The further he read, the whiter his face was. The hand gripping the paper turned blue-white at the knuckles from the sheer force of his grip.
Is he our child?
Yes, but he is my son, and he has nothing to do with you. I didn't come here today for a family reunion. All I ask is that you donate your bone marrow to save his life. Name your price.
I could offer him money, though in his eyes my savings might be utterly significant. I could also return the shares of the white group he once gave me, anything, as long as he agreed to save Leo. There were far too many emotions swirling in that gaze: pain, regret, self-reproach, and a desperate, humble plea. He looked like a man stripped of all his defenses, begging for a single chance at redemption.
I have only one condition.
What is it?
Let me meet him.
Impossible.
I didn't want Leo to know he had a father like this. I refused to let the stain of our generation's dirty, shameful past taint his pure, unblemished life.
Elena! Hina! He is my son too! I have the right to see him! By what authority do you strip me of that right?
By what authority? Because you, Dominic, are unworthy. Because you caused my parents' death and destroyed my life. Because you treated me as a substitute, a mere plaything, for 5 whole years. Dominic, what qualification do you possibly have to call yourself his father?
Dominic's face instantly turned paper white. He staggered back 2 steps and collapsed weirdly into his chair. Every word I spoke was like a knife plunging ruthlessly into his heart. He looked as though every last ounce of strength had been drained from his body.
I didn't. I never treated you as a substitute. Never.
Elena curls her lips into a sarcastic smirk.
What about Serena? Don't tell me there was nothing between you two.
Dominic raises his head to look at Elena, his gaze earnest and sincere.
There was nothing between us. From the very beginning, I only got close to her to investigate the truth behind your family's bankruptcy. To avenge you. As for your parents' car accident...
Dominic closes his eyes, an expression of excruciating pain crossing his face.
It was an accident. My father was driving. He was drunk when he crashed into your parents' car. Afterward, he pulled strings to cover it up. He lied to me, saying that I'd only been slightly injured and had settled it privately with money. Afraid that guilt would drive me to seek you out, he kept the truth from me.
I hated him for it, but then he died because of that same crash!
Not until 5 years ago, when Grace reopened the investigation, did I finally learn. They were gone. I didn't dare tell you the truth, Elena. I was terrified you'd hate me, terrified you'd leave me. So I could only try to make amends in my own way. I avenged you, destroyed the White family. I wanted to give you everything. I thought that somehow I could atone for my sins.
Dominic's voice breaks. and tears streamed down in his face. A man who once commanded the business world with absolute authority now sat before me weeping like a child who had done something terribly wrong. Elena stands rooted to the spot, her expression dazed.
I stood there, stunned. I had never imagined the truth could be like this. So, I was never a substitute. He had approached Serena all along for my sake, and my parents' accident had carved a wound just as deep within his own heart. But what difference does any of it make now?
Sophia sat on the sofa, constantly wiping away her tears. I looked at my older sister in confusion.
Our parents already know about what happened online.
My mother touched my face with heartache and said guiltfully,
I'm sorry, Eileen. It's our fault that we didn't protect you properly.
As she spoke, my mother helped but burst into tears.
All these years you've heard so much. If only I'd brought you back earlier.
My father also looked at me with regretful eyes, Lele's in his eye. I was stunned for a moment before I realized what had happened. They must have seen my past. After Lynn's mother passed away, Lynn's father, who was burdened with debts, also died. Lynn's relatives, fearing that I wouldn't repay the money, caused a scene at the funeral. They surrounded my brother and me, demanding that I sell our only home to pay off their debts.
Eileen! Your father owed us so much money! Now that he's old, how are we supposed to settle this debt?
Lynn's cousin folded his arms and said,
I think there's no need further talk. Let's sell their house, divide them among everybody, and give her the rest.
I was wearing mourning clothes and said,
That house is the only place my brother and I have to live in. I won't sell it.
I'll pay my father's debts. If you keep causing problems, don't blame me for not paying you a single pence. I'm just a child.
From that day on, I tacitly allowed him to come in each day for a brief visit with Leo. Leo grew very fond of him. Though the boy had no idea who he really was, he simply saw him as a kind uncle. Dominic would tell Leo stories and play chess with him, pouring his heart into making up for 7 years of absent fatherhood.
Sometimes, watching the two of them together, my heart would fall into an illusion, as if we were, after all, a normal, happy family of 3. But reason would quickly pull me back to reality. There could never be an us again.
Lena, sit down.
Dominic sits by the bed with a calm, faint smile and hands Elena a document. Elena takes the document and sees that it is a will.
Just in case I don't make it off the operating table, everything under my name goes to you and our son. The password is your birthday.
Elena's heart clenched painfully, and she cut him off sharply.
Don't talk nonsense. It's only a bone marrow transplant. It's not even a major surgery.
Dominic smiles, a trace of relief woven into his expression. I know.
I just wanted to give myself yet a chance in it. Elena, have these past 7 years been good to you?
Elena turns her face away and remains silent.
I know they haven't. I'm sorry. If I could turn back time, I would rather have never met you at all. That way, you'd still be that carefree young lady with a happy family and loving parents instead of being dragged into this abyss because of me.
His words pierce the softest part of my heart like a needle. Tears spill uncontrollably from Elena's eyes.
Dominic reaches out as if to wipe away Elena's tears, but ultimately lets his hand fall limply to his side.
Don't cry. Promise me that if I'm gone, you'll keep living fully. Take Leo, find a good man, and marry him.
Dominic's voice is horny with emotion, his eyes brimming with a tender yet desperate gentleness.
In that moment, the towering wall of hatred I had built within my heart came crashing down. Did I hate him? Yes. But I also loved him. Ever since I was 15, when I first saw that allure boy in a white shirt in my father's studio, my heart has been lost to him. This love runs just as deep, just as indelibly etched into my soul as all the suffering I have endured.
The surgery was a complete success. Both Dominic and Leo were wheeled safely out of the operating room. Leo's illness finally held the promise of a cure. Dominic, however, was left frail from the donation and needed to remain in the hospital for a long recuperation. I stayed behind to look after them both. An unspoken, delicate harmony grew between us. Horrid beast between us. We no longer dwelled on what had been or worried about what might come. We simply cherished this hard-won, peaceful present. Dominic had changed profoundly. He was no longer the lofty, distant Mr. Thorne. He fumbled earnestly as he learned to peel apples for Leo and listened with endless patience to my rambling about mundane hospital affairs. His gaze toward me remained deeply loving, yet it now carried a careful, almost reverential restraint, a silent vow never to overstep. He had placed the power of choice entirely, completely, in my hands. On the day Leo was discharged, Yuncheng was blessed with exceptionally fine weather, brilliant sunshine and a soft, balmy breeze. Dominic had also been discharged. He stood waiting at the hospital gates, his eyes fixed warmly on Leo and me.
Let me drive you home.
Elena does not refuse. She takes Leo's hand and walks toward Dominic. The car pulls to a stop beneath the penthouse building instead of heading toward the airport or a hotel.
We're here.
Dominic's voice trembles with nervousness. Elena gazes out the window at the place that feels both familiar and strange, remaining silent. Leo tugs gently at the hem of Elena's coat.
Mommy, aren't we leaving anymore?
Elena turns to meet Leo's clear, innocent eyes, then looks at the anxious Dominic beside her. In that instant, something inside me finally let go. The grievance of the previous generation have passed. The dead are gone, and the living should not be forever by hatred. Both Dominic and I have paid a devastating price for the mistakes of the past. Perhaps it is time we gave ourselves, and each other, a chance. A chance to start over. Elena takes a deep breath and slowly offers Donna a gentle smile.
Dominic, I think we've run out of soy sauce at home.
Dominic freezes, his eyes instantly reddening. He nods vigorously, his voice thick with emotion.
Okay. I'll go buy some right now. You and Leo, wait for me at home.
Episode 30, Scene 3032, in Tit, Penthouse Apartment. Day. Lena. Leo. Elena takes Leo's hand as they step out of the car. She enters her birthday code and unlocks the front door. The apartment is spotless. Sunlight streams the floor-to-ceiling windows. and a bouquet of fresh sunflowers rest on the dining table. I am home. This time not as a substitute, not as a captive, but as the mistress of this house, returning with our child to the place that was always meant to be our first and final sanctuary.